All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, July 9th, 11 a.m. EST. I want to welcome everyone to our, I believe this is our fourth, right, Prabhakar?
That's right.
Fourth Clean Raw Food Certification Forum. And today we're going to be giving a case study of KSM-66 Ashwagandha, which is the leading company in the world that produces, manufactures a human usable consumable form of ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, some people may know, is considered the Indian ginseng, and it's a very powerful ingredient that's used for many areas, from sleep, reducing anxiety, reduction of stress. It's a adaptogen. It's used for men's health, women's health, a whole range of things. But the clean and raw certification is a bottoms up movement by the people for the people, and that's what we've created. So the key thing I want to emphasize as we walk you through this is this certification is a global standard. It's recognized throughout the world. Many, as people know, throughout the world now, people are do not trust their governments. They do not. They're questioning the source of food, and this certification gives an end-to-end analysis and a scored quantitative measure of where this food came from, how it was sourced, how it was processed, before it comes into you. And most importantly, this is a certification not controlled by governments. This is a certification that came bottoms up. And that's what's important. Every one of you is a part of this, and there's nothing like this on the planet. So let's begin. Next slide. So again, go back, Prabhakar. You'll notice on the upper right, this certification is housed in the International Center for Integrative Systems, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to educating people on how you take a systems approach to everything in the world. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Next, the agenda of today's meeting is, first of all, what are you going to learn? You're going to learn about what our center is, and many of you may want to be part of it, support it. It's volunteer run, and we'll go into that detail. Number two, you'll learn what is clean and raw. Ashwagandha, Prabhakar may just want to fix that spelling. It's ashwagandha. Third bullet, Prabhakar, you could kindly fix that. Yeah. So we're going to learn about what was KSM's journey, how they became raw certified. We'll talk a little bit about that organization. And then what is the investment to get certified? And then we're going to talk about how every one of you can be part of this. And we want to make our announcement that's relatively new about how every one of you can participate in being a citizen food inspector. Next. So who benefits from this? Well, nearly everyone. If people and animals who eat food, which means everyone, food, dietary supplement manufacturers, farmers, restaurateurs, and ingredient suppliers. So everyone benefits from this forum. And we have pretty much all those stakeholders on this call today. Next. The CLEAN certification has now certified thousands of SKUs all over the world. Some of them are household names. For example, Go Macro is a snack bar. Bucci is a kombucha, which is a beverage. Manuka Doctor, this was recently certified out of New Zealand. We literally created it. Prabhakar, can you stay on that? This was certified for honey. Honey is one of the hardest things to certify properly, and we cracked the code on doing that. Next. Then we have KSM Ashwagandha, dietary supplement. And this ingredient, by the way, Prabhakar, go back, is used not only standalone, but you will find many other products which use this as an ingredient within that. So it's not only a product, but it's also an ingredient in other formulations. Next. Sugar, household product, Zulka. Next. Nut butters, wonderful product out of Artisana. Next. And there's many, many more. Let's move on. So again, this is a bottoms-up certification. This is housed, as I mentioned, in the International Center for Integrative Systems. You'll notice there's a big donate button there. Myself, Dr. Prabhakar, everyone who works for integrative systems is volunteer. Quite extraordinary. There's no paid staff yet we've kept it running for now going into our 11th year. It's run by people like you and us with donations and support. Thanks. Next. What do we do? Well, there's a board, there's an executive director. We run 3 different projects: Innovation Core, Systems Biology of GMOs, and the Clean and Raw certification. Next. So the innovation systems we run, if any one of you has children between the ages of 14 through 18, you should go to innovationcorp.org and you're welcome to apply for a grant. There's about 8 grants available every year. We give the winner money, we give them mentoring, and we give them an entire system and support so they can innovate something new. And this was really motivated by my recognition. There's a lot of smart young people that can innovate, start new companies, etc. So it came out of the history of my inventing emails, a 14-year-old kid, and recognizing there's many other smart 14-year-olds. So that's one program we run. Next, we also have the systems biology program that we started in 2014 when we really wanted to understand what is a genetically engineered food. Last Tuesday, CytoSolve, which did the analysis, which donated its services, did a very nice lecture on what is a GMO and the truth about them. But it was the ICIS International Center which supported that research. So this resulted in a series of not only 4, but 5 papers, next, which meticulously understood, using CytoSolve, what is a genetically engineered food, from looking at thousands of papers that were written, next, aggregating all the molecular mechanisms. And what we revealed in the 5th paper was that genetically engineered food, specifically soy, has nearly 260% less glutathione than the organic version. Next, and you can see that in this diagram right here. We did the work on the second row, as Dr. Prabhakar's pointing, where we showed that soy, Roundup Ready soy by Monsanto, has nearly 260% less, 50% less glutathione, which is one of the most important antioxidants. And this was confirmed by greenhouse research done by a group in Leeds. This was quite monumental. When this came out, prior to this, the papers that we did were attacked by Monsanto and their puppets. When this came out, they shut up, and it's a seminal paper. But this was done by our center. Next. The next thing we did was the raw food research. That's also housed here, and we're going to walk you through that. Next. So what is a clean and raw standard? Clean, as you'll realize, is for foods that can go over 212 degrees. Raw is for foods that are below 212. But philosophically, they follow the very similar principles. There's a formal document that's updated twice a year. It's a standards document. We just ran a public hearing. When was it? Last time, right, Prabhakar? Last month.
End of June.
And you as the public participate. Again, this is not regulated by the government. It's regulated by we, the people. Next. So let's walk through it. I was really the founder of this standard starting in 2013 when I was asked by one of the Whole Foods head of safety, who was concerned about products that were branded as raw, and they had bacterial issues. They were causing all sorts of issues. The raw food movement, nearly 10, 15 years ago, was branding products as raw, but no one knew what raw meant. So I was asked to come in with my breadth of experience and depth in food science, in biological engineering, in standards development, and I actually helped bring in stakeholders, because we wanted to make it a consensus-based standard, from all over the world into California. It took us 9 months to figure out what everyone concurred was raw/clean food. And I'll walk you through that journey next. So when we brought next these companies together, everyone had a different view of what was quote unquote clean or raw food. It was like the blind man touching the elephant. And it took us a long time to argue, distill, and we concluded that, next slide, everyone agreed that there were three eminent principles of the standard: safety, minimally processed, and bioavailability of ingredients. That means, was the product safely sourced? Where was it coming from? How was it manufactured? Etc. The next part was, how was it processed? Was it destroying the nutrient value of the food? And then the third part of it was bioavailability of the nutrients. So everyone concurred on this. Again, it took us 9 months, nearly a year, to bring the stakeholders. So we had to be very patient. Again, this is not driven by the government, it's bottoms up. So you have to be inclusive and accept people's opinions and argue and lead people to, what we consider to be truthful versus imposing something on people. So that's what we did. Next. After this, what emerged out of this was three powerful principles: real, alive, and whole. Okay? Real, alive, and whole was the three mnemonics that represented raw. Okay? So real had, and by the way, you had to go back, you had to get these three attributes could lead to 100 points. The group of stakeholders agreed if you got 80 or more, you would be branded as raw. So what is the R in raw, the real? That had two components. You could get a score of 50, safety and non-GMO. If you were not non-GMO, you got 0. If you were non-GMO, you got 25. If you were safe, you got 25. If you were not safe, you got 0. Now, how do you determine something safe? Well, there are protocols. They're called HACCP standards, ISO standards. How is a factory floor organized? How is a kitchen organized? So we brought a lot of this value because many of these manufacturers were doing stuff with literally rats running around, even though they were making, let's say, kale chips or what they called healthy foods. So we brought some standards and some scientific framework. But you got 50 points or 0 out of that, or 25, right? 0, 25, or 50. Then the second was the alive. So that was a range from 0 to 20, determining bioactive enzymatic availability. Up until this, we had the religious people running these standards, like the raw food people, who were telling people that if something was not below 108 degrees, it must be dead. They had this notion that all food below heated over 108, and this was written in some text many, many years ago, so that became the religion. And so we had to now really understand the science. Fortunately, we want to thank Cytosol provided us the engine to really provide a framework to do this. And what we were able to do was quantitatively figure out what was alive and put a score to it. And so we'll walk you through that. So for example, if you take this product, Brad's kale chips, this has about 10 different ingredients. And pursuant to the standard, what we developed, again with everyone's support, was we would identify the top 3 or 4 molecules in each one of these ingredients. And then for each of those ingredients, we would figure out the temperature at which that denatured. Denatured means that it was no longer bioavailable, to put it simply. But we would have to do an aggregate by weight and then molecular weight. So you see these ingredients, we've mapped out those particular molecules, and then using Cytosol, we were able to, in aggregate, create a graph very specific to each product. The x-axis being temperature, the y-axis being bioavailability. And as you can see here, what emerges out of this is that when you apply real science, far better than the simply the religion people had, you find out that food doesn't just die at 108 degrees and when it's heated. In fact, it survives, but it follows a phase transition curve. So between 120 to 160 degrees, this food is still 80% bioavailable. Then it drops to 60%. So this food was heated at about 130 degrees, So we knew it had 80% bioavailability, 80% times a weighted point. Sorry, the 80% is a weight across a potential of 20 points. So you get 16 points. So 16 plus a 50 would be 66 points. Obviously, it's not going to hit certification. It needs another 14 points at least at 80. So next, that is a function of what's called the next. By the way, these are, for example, different ingredients. Next. And you can see for these ingredients, we can also run them through. Next. And we can determine, yeah, Prabhakar, I don't think. Next.
So this is an example of how cytosol is being used. Not only understand the bioavailability, but also actually look at the nature, look at the ingredients, and then identify the most efficacious one, and then understand the effect of those ingredients on the biological processes. For example, here we have these two ingredients, apigenin and hesperidin, which impact or inhibit the mechanisms of joint health. There are 4 mechanisms with 5 biomarkers, and these two powerful bioflavonoids are helping alleviate the joint health-associated issues. That's and with that knowledge, we were able to create a product that's MV25. It's the genesis of MV25. So that's the technology that we're using to understand the bioavailability for the ALIVE criteria of RAW certification.
Great. So we wanted to, and we'll talk more about that, but we have a very powerful engine, a scientific engine that allows us to do that. And then finally, for the remaining 30 points, it's a range from 0 to 30, organic to nutrient density, okay? Organic is 0 to 20, and nutrient density 0 to 10. We use the Andy score. And notice that there are foods that you will find out that are grown in the wild that you can't get organic certification for. We find a number of herbs in India where the tribal people actually go get them. They're absolutely probably better than organic. So we give credence to people who are moving in that direction. Next. So that's how you get the raw of 80 or above. When we presented this analysis, next slide, at the biggest conference in the world, people said, we love your raw, you're going to help save our industry, but we have foods that are heated over 212. So we built a sister standard called C.L.E.A.N, which follows the same things: conscious for the safety, live for the organic, ethical for the non-GMO, active for the bioavailability, and nutritious. Next, so we developed 2 standards, clean and raw. Clean is for those foods that are over 100, that are over 212, and raw for under 212. Next. So let's go through KSM Ashwagandha. Again, Prabhakar, can you fix that spelling? So yep, right on the title. Sorry, everyone. So KSM Ashwagandha is a company that approached us because they were very, very excited about what we've created, and they wanted a high standard of certification beyond just organic. And that resulted in us working with them. And what we want to walk you through here is their journey to their certification process. So it'll literally walk you through an example here. So they're the leading producer of ashwagandha in the world. They have the highest concentration of full spectrum root extract. What we mean by that is, many years ago, I did a project with the Indian government on looking at the different types of ashwagandha. What's grown at the foothills of the Himalayas is very different than what's grown in the central part of India. So this has the fullest spectrum of root extract, and it's the most clinically studied. And it's been certified clean since now 8 years, since 2016. Next. So you can see there, it's used as dietary supplements, food and beverage, in sports nutrition. So KSM Ashwagandha shows up in all these different places, in addition to pet health and personal care. Next. So it contains full spectrum extract And that's an extract which maintains the balance of various constituents as in the original herb. So we're not just taking out one withanolide, one particular compound, but it has the full spectrum of all the different compounds. Next. And it's GRAS affirmed, which means it's generally regarded as safe, by the FDA. It's vegetarian, it's safe, and it's shelf stable. Next. So what is it used for? It's been clinically proven, number one, to reduce stress-related food cravings, and enhance quality of sleep. It enhances memory and cognition. It increases endurance, strength, and immune function. It also improves sexual function in both men and women. Next. So when they came to us, they wanted the C.L.E.A.N certification. So first, they received a score of 25 out of 25 on the safety, because they follow very high standards in how the materials are brought in. They follow a HACCP and an ISO process in doing this. Next. The next thing was it organic? And they got a full score of 20 out of 20 because it's all organic. Next. Next, ethical, non-GMO. They got, again, 25 out of 25 because they're non-GMO. Next, is it bioavailable? So this is where we ran it through Cytosol. Next. And we looked at the different, oops, go back, Prabhakar. I didn't see the score. You're right. And they got 20 out of 20 because every one of those ingredients was bioavailable. Next. And then when we looked at the nutritional density, they got a 10 out of 10. So KSM Ashwagandha, next, total score, they got 100 out of 100, which is very rare. So this is quite unique. So they got 100%. Most people are, anywhere between 85 to 90. So these guys were hit it out of the park. They got an A triple plus on this. Next. So in summary, they've been certified clean since, starting in 2016. Their analysis ended in 2016. Their score is they got a score of 100. They met the conscious living, ethical, and nutritious criteria with top scores by processing organic, nutrient-dense ingredients in a safe environment with non-GMO ingredients, and their bioavailability was 100%. Okay, next. So what's the investment to get certified? So let's walk you through this. If those of you who are listening have a product that you want to get C.L.E.A.N certified, when we came up with what it costs to do this, we made it highly, highly accessible to everyone on the planet. So we're going to walk you through a spreadsheet here. Prabhakar, maybe you can zoom in a little bit because it's really small. So when people decide they want to get certified, it's a function of the size of the company. So let's say you have a company that has one manufacturing site where you make the product. And let's say you have 5 products. Like in the case of Go Macro, they make, they actually make 12 different products. Let's say you have 5. And each of those nut bars that they make, let's say it has cashews, one has cashews and honey and oats. Another one has almond honey and oats. Another one has sesame seed honey and oats. Another one has, let's say, sunflower seeds honey and oats. And another one has, pistachios honey and oats. So that's literally 5 different products, 5 unique nuts. So it's 5 definitely unique ingredients, but it's 2 ingredients which are repetitive. So it'd be 7 unique ingredients across 5 products. So that'd be 7. Change that to 7, Prabhakar. And then what we did was we then look at the size of the company. Let's say the company is a $1 million size company. Let's go to 1. And so for a $1 million size company, for 5 products that get certified with 7 unique ingredients, it's only $855 for all 5, which is only $171 per product for both certifications. If they only want to do one certification, all 5 products, let's say C.L.E.A.N, it's $684, $136. So we've made it at pennies. And again, when we started this, the goal was not to be a for-profit entity. This is housed in our nonprofit entity. And the goal was to really build a movement, a bottoms-up movement. And that's what we've done. In fact, many of our people who get certified, they say, are you guys charging enough? But that's what we've created. We've created a global standard for certification that really identifies end-to-end, not just organic, not just. So for example, if this company was a $20 million company, If Prabhakar changes that number to 20, you notice their price goes up. So, but still, it's very, very affordable. For a $20 million company, $1,700 or $2,000 is a fraction of what their revenue. But our goal was to really make this accessible to the world, because everyone knows lifespan is going down, particularly in the United States. If you have a son or daughter, your son or daughter is going to live shorter than you now. And we are convinced one important factor is food, the sourcing of food. And this is a solution to address that. Next. And again, it's bottoms up. It can't be manipulated by the government. We know there's government corruption, government lobbyists. This is done by we the people, for we the people. So when we wrap this up, how can you, let's go. Right, so how can you help us? First of all, number one, what we're doing today, Dr. Prabhakar and I take time from our other work, and we do this to educate the public because we are very committed to this for our community, our family, and our kids and our friends. But you too can help. How can you help? First, next slide. You guys can help by donating. People spend a lot of money on garbage. You guys spend money on all sorts of stuff. We know that. So why don't you take some few dollars and support us? Either you can donate to our center, you can get your products from Clean and Raw, you can become an affiliate, you can buy cytosol products. We'll show you an example. You can fund our research. Or everyone here, if you made it this far, join the movement for Truth, Freedom, Health. When you join us, we give you lots of stuff anyway. So it's not really you're donating, you're actually getting a lot of stuff back. We'll walk you through that next. So number one, go to the site, donate. Okay? $1, 50 cents, whatever you want to donate. Be generous, because what we're doing is fundamentally affecting the world versus the government taking your tax dollars. Next. The next thing is you can go buy a t-shirt, okay? Up on the site and wear this around. Let people know that you're clean. Next. And raw, get your products. If you're a manufacturer, get your product set up. Dr. Prabhakar will load this up before the meeting. You can set up a meeting to schedule a call with us. Kindly be mindful of our time. Don't set up meetings to talk about, we have people setting up meetings, which is great. We enjoy talking, but please be focused, because again, we're donating our time to this effort. Next. Then we have affiliate programs. Everyone here can become an affiliate. You can introduce people, wherever you can introduce people, organizations about this certification. Again, we'll put up the Calendly link if you want to do that. You can set up a meeting with Dr. Prabhakar and I. Next. The next thing you can do is you can buy cytosol products. Next. One of them is MV25. We use Cytosolve donates its research. Cytosolve has created a very powerful product called MV25. Dr. Prabhakar will play a quick video. This product is developed from bitter orange and chamomile. We use Cytosolve to find, in a holistic way, in a systems way, natural compounds which have significant effect on pain and inflammation. We did this bottoms up. We manufactured, we did the science. And let me play this video. Prabhakar, make sure it's you can share the sound. So support yourself. We're not asking you to give us anything for free, but a portion of the proceeds go to help our research. Go ahead, Prabhakar.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at Cytosolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the Cytosolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
I am Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up, so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet. And they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids. And I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand. Very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days, the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is CytoSolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by CytoSolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
All right, so that gives you an idea. So you guys can support us because that's a fundamental way of helping what we do, and you can also help yourself. You can save yourself and help us. Next. And by the way, we also love our animals. We've used that same research to identify about 15 ingredients from nature, which is like a whole food product for dogs and your pets. Next. And that's K9701. And you can also get that on VA Shiva shop. The others, you can help actually fund research. So we support the real fight against racism, which is to recognize that indigenous and traditional medicines from people all over the world, white, black, brown, indigenous cultures, offer tremendous value. Next, and CytoSolve helps us identify and validate those combinations. We're against animal testing. We don't think it's necessary at all. We also are against the fake science that's happened from the incestuous web of science, from big academia colluding with big pharma, with big government and big publishers. And CytoSolve fundamentally eliminates this incestuous web because we go direct and we do bottoms-up research. Next. So you guys can support that. Go to the CytoSolve Open Science Institute. There's a vashiva.com/open science. You can donate. We have many, many initiatives taking place. We have a general pool. Next. And then we have different areas of research that we're doing: lung health, cancer, a whole bunch of things, anti-aging. Next. And when you support us, next, we actually give you a lot of things. We give you next week. I think there's a bigger blow up of this. Go back, Prabhakar. It's very hard to see that diagram. We give you about 15 different gifts, books, analysis. Maybe you can zoom in on that, Prabhakar. You have the other slide. You can drop in there, but there's a number of things we give you because we want to encourage you guys to actually learn system science. So you get books, you get an entire dashboard, you get to understand how your body is a system, whole range of things. And for anyone who donates $100 or more. So get involved in that. And you can become also part of the Truth, Freedom, Health movement. Thanks, Prabhakar, when you do that. Yeah. So if you can go back. Next time, Prabhakar, we can add that other slide there so it's a little bit easier. Yeah. You guys can also support directly the movement for Truth, Freedom, Health. Next. Because we want to really improve the quality of people's lives. And that begins with education. We train people how to get educated. We're not here to save people, but we are here to give people tools that you're not going to get anywhere else. And these are tools to understand how the world works. So you get smart, you get healthy, and you become a fierce fighter. That's what we teach you. But if you want to remain dumb, if you want to remain unhealthy and sick and really complacent, Truth, Freedom, Health is really not the place for you. Next. Come to our open house, vashiva.com/orientation every 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. There's no cost. Again, this is a public service for you. Next. And then we also believe it's important that we recognize that whatever you consume, what's good for one person may not be good for another person. Next. And this is really the notion of the right medicine, the right food for the right person at the right time. Systems Health helps you uncover that. You can go to vashiva.com/tutorial. Every other Fridays, last Friday at 11, we had a tutorial. Next Friday at 7, we'll have another one. You yourself can learn how to become your quote unquote, your own doctor, how to really help other people, because we've created the scientific framework of figuring out what's the right medicine, the right food for the right person at the right time. Next. But fundamentally, you will learn to think, fight, heal, all three things. Next. And we've created these 3 different platforms: Cytosolve, Truth, Freedom, Health, VA Shiva. Next. And some special announcements. We've rolled out our new program, which is in development, called Food Inspectors, which means as we roll out new products in regional areas, each of you can be a bottoms-up food inspector, visiting facilities, making sure things are being conforming to the protocols that we put in place. Next. Let's go to question and answer. As we're doing that, Prabhakar, maybe you can share the Calendly link to people. Yeah. Okay. So Margarita says, can we have the slides? The slides will be up online, Margarita, on a blog page. Not only this video, we're in the middle of putting that up on the raw food, certified raw food site. So you'll get to watch the video and the slides, but we don't give out the slides. They're a property of Clean Food Certified. We don't want people manipulating the slides, but we do make the videos available so you can get the whole thing. That's just being sort of following us operating procedure. Any other questions? But we wanted to share this with you because a friend of mine recently visited me, and he works with all sorts of people all over the world. And he didn't know I was doing this. And he said, wow. He said, this is pretty amazing what you're doing. He goes, because one of the biggest things in the world now is people don't trust their governments. And they really want to improve their quality of their lives. And food is ultimately the quality. Prabhakar, can you share the screen so it's not all black? The last page, or just go back to normal. And we just go back to gallery view. So where we're at. Prabhakar, can you share gallery view so everyone can see?
I thought I was doing the gallery views.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we've done. We've created a platform and infrastructure for the world. And it has been a long process without any funding, all volunteers. We have garnered thousands of products. Imagine what could happen if you guys let other people know, stepped up to the plate, supported what we're doing. Lisa Casaro says, do you have the certifications for personal care products, lotions, creams, beauty, makeup? Yeah. So Lisa, let me repeat this again. What we have done is a bottoms-up certification. So if you have makeup, beauty products, our certification can conform to that. So the answer is yes, but we can expand it too. So if you have beauty, makeup products that need to be certified in every new vertical, so if you say, hey, I want to certify a particular lotion, we will work with you, Lisa, if that's an area that we will, when Prabhakar brings up the standards document, you'll notice it's a very detailed document, but we have new things we can add. Like we recently added seaweed. We recently added honey. We're going to add eggs. So the standard is bottoms up. So if you want that to happen, Lisa, you can work with us to make it happen. You can give us ideas, advice, but yes, anything that's out there can be expanded. Someone else recently wants to do restaurants, a whole restaurant. But yes. Next question. If you guys have a question, you can also raise your hand. There's a thing on the, so we have Rudy from Latin America. Go ahead, Rudy.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva. Thank you, Prabhakar, for your time. Not really a question, just a comment. I am a farmer in Costa Rica. I do coffee, and I just wanted to say it's very refreshing. I've started to work with Dr. Shiva and C.L.E.A.N Raw to start the process of understanding and creating the parameters to do C.L.E.A.N for coffee. And it couldn't come at a better time to look at the difference between this process where they're asking us to come up with real parameters for nutrition, for safety, and what we're getting pressured into. So right now, Costa Rica probably signed some kind of document with the European Union. And so we're getting very, very pressured to sign a document that certifies, and I cannot remember right now what the name of this certification is, but it's a European certification having to do with deforestation. And all it is they gave us this thing to sign that enumerates like 5 or 6 different laws that the government of Costa Rica has signed that have to do with Europe, and we're basically attesting, under penalty of law, that we are, not deforested. And it's interesting because we call and we go, hey, we don't understand these parameters. We don't understand what we're signing. Maybe somebody could come and explain to us. It's all bureaucracy. They just want us to sign. That's it. Just sign and you're done. And that's the process. You're coerced to sign, and there's no explanation. We don't know what we're signing to. We have to look up these laws. Thankfully there's internet now, and they're all under penalty of law. We're signing away our life, and there's nothing to do. It's just a signature. It's just bureaucracy, and we've seen that before with other certifications of big coffee companies that want to certify you, but in the end it's just bureaucracy, and it's just money, and it's just to support people in government with a lot of jobs that do nothing. And it's so refreshing to see this where it's real, real people really trying to come up with a certification. We're going to monitor ourselves, other people are going to monitor it. And so I just wanted to say that because it's very frustrating right now trying to determine how we don't sign these documents that seem difficult to us.
Well, what's interesting, Rudy, is when we wrote that 5th paper on GMOs, the 4th paper was the mathematical modeling that we did. When we did the 5th, and there was a bunch of people from the European Union who attacked our paper because they're all run by Monsanto. These people are all corrupt. And then when we did the 5th paper, they all crickets. And Rutte, who's now been appointed, I think the head of the, you know what I'm talking about, right? The guy from Netherlands, the WEF or whoever he is, right? He's out of Netherlands, a former prime minister who essentially was against all the farmers there. So where we're headed to is food being genetically engineered, controlled, and the modus operandi of saying what is good food will be controlled by the very same people, top down, who are killing people. Globally, lifespan is going down. So think about what we're doing here, where we're going down to the source of food, and we've created a very powerful bottoms-up certification. And this was done by us. And many of you know I'm running for president in the United States. No other candidate has done anything like this. We're building a bottoms-up movement globally. So if you made it this far, everyone here, you guys got to step up to the plate now. Go become a Truth, Freedom, Health warrior. Become part of this movement, because no one else is doing this work for zero. And I'm doing it, Dr. Prabhakar does it, Rudy does it, and other people involved, because we know that there's no other way out of this but by us. And that's what Rudy's pointing out here. They know that people throughout the world want good, clean food, but they're going to shove down their standards top down. And this platform that we built, it took us, Prabhakar, what, 11 years now? We're getting into 12 years with nobody's help. But we have now brought thousands of products very quietly. This is one of our 4 major solutions. But we do these symposiums, as you know, Rudy, people come. And then what do we see, Rudy? People come, they say, thank you, Dr. Shiva, thank you, Rudy, thank you, Prabhakar, and then they go back to their lives. And that's not a good thing, guys. You guys can help us. Some of you may have a lot of money. Great, donate. Some of you may have time. Donate your time. But you got to get involved, because this standard that we've created is what's going to save your kids and your family, because it puts us in the position of control, not the swarm. And, you know, working with Rudy, we're going to create the standard for coffee. Everyone drinks coffee. God knows what you're drinking. You don't have any idea. Where is it sourced? How is it made? What's put in it? Our standard, when that clean seal appears on a coffee, you will know where it came from. You will know how it was produced. You will know the bioavailability. Where's that seal? Organic is a top-down seal. So this is, you know, after I get off this call, I got to go collect ballot signatures in Massachusetts to get on the ballot. Dr. Prabhakar's got to go do science, right? Rudy's got to go watch patients. But you guys got to understand, we do these symposiums. We do it out of a public service. But the subtext here is get off your butts and join us. Get involved. We've created many ways you could be involved. Become a warrior scholar. $100, it's nothing. You go get that education at MIT, you're going to pay $200,000. If you don't have money, then, or you have money and you want to just donate, great. But we've created the infrastructure so you guys cannot say, I don't know what to do. We've created this infrastructure for you. So that's why we take time out once a month on every Tuesdays to do this. Every other once a month, we do CytoSolve. And every 2 times on Thursdays, it's a 24-hour day for most of us, we do the open houses. But we need you to get off your butts and get involved. We've created enough vehicles for you to be involved. But again, if you have a lot of money, we'll take your money because we'll hire other people. But everything we're doing is based on people with full-time jobs, and we do this. And look how much we've done, more than any governments or politicians can do. Next question, Rudy, thanks. Rudy, I hope you and Prabhakar are starting to meet, because we should lay out that coffee standard and get it done, man. We should get it done, you know, in the next 60 days. All right, let's see what else we have in the chat. Is fair trade certified any good? Well, fair trade was involved in looking at how the product was traded, okay? And theoretically, it was about, you know, indigenous people and workers' exploitation. I know the fair trade logo. I don't want to endorse it one way or the other. What I do know is what we're doing is really about looking at the sourcing and the science. In other words, do you certify the soil the crops are grown in? We can. Okay. So Patricia, if you want to help us define that, we can add that as a part of the standard. Okay. Remember, this is our standard. So while we like suggestions, which is awesome, but every time you guys give us a suggestion, we're going to say, how do you want to help us implement that suggestion? Rudy wanted to implement coffee. We said, Rudy, do you want to do it? He's helping us do it. Amit Gautam says, how do you get clean raw certification for an organic permaculture regenerative agriculture farm? I think we answered this before, Amit. So if we want to do it, you have to define the protocols, you see? So if you want to brand, I think what you're asking is, like, you want to say, this farm is clean and raw, we can do that. What we will do, Amit, if you want to help us do that, set up a meeting. We look at the endpoint to endpoint, and we define the standard. There is a scientific way that you define a standard, and that process is what we do. So that process can be applied to any new areas. So Amit says, so once the farm is certified, then does all the produce coming from the farm automatically get clean and raw certified as well? How do you maintain this? Is it a continuous process? I will be a Truth from Health warrior. I want to do the foundation systems course. Great, Amit. So Amit, great questions. So number one, if you have a farm that's clean and raw, you're bringing up a great question, okay? The question is all the produce from that clean and raw? Well, it depends, Amit, because the produce may be coming from that farm clean and raw, but let's say by the time it hits a grocery store, right? How do they store it and how do they manage it? So you can say stuff coming from that farm would be clean, but if that ingredient was used in a place where they processed it, then for that location, they may hurt something, right? Maybe they're spraying something to process it. But yes, for that farm, we could certify it as clean and raw. It's a great idea. Yes, and you have to maintain it once a year. This is why we want to implement this concept of local food inspectors, because we have an auditing methodology we put in, but we also do renewal of stuff once a year because standards are constantly changing and becoming more strict. Patricia said, will you apply this to a more affordable means for farmers to be certified? Well, I can't make it more affordable than we've done, Patricia. No one's ever complained about the pricing. In fact, people have said, how are you guys making any money doing this? I mean, we're talking about pennies to do this. Other people are charging tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I don't know of a way to do it more cheaper than the way we've done it. So I don't know how cheap we do it except giving it away for free. The problem is when you give stuff away for free, people just sit on their butts and they don't do anything. They don't value it. So I think we've done it as, Prabhakar, do you want to speak to that? I don't think there's any other way we can do it any cheaper.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a novel question for us because most of the times when we sit with the client, the manufacturers or food product manufacturers, they don't have any complaints about the pricing because compared to like the certifications such as non-GMO or organic, this is pennies on the dollar. So, and this process of those two certifications is also so cryptic and also time consuming. We actually make it very easy for the people to get certified. There's an account manager who walks them through all those steps, and we they can upload stuff on our website, but we actually ask them to send it to us so that we can upload. That way we can cut down on time from their side. So we have done several things to make it very accessible, the certification for the stakeholders, and price has never been an issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Prabhakar. Someone, Lynn Hurdley says, have you gotten tea producers certified? I don't think we've done any teas yet, but we can. Lynn, if you know people, tell them you want it to be clean certified. You can set up a meeting. If you go to cleanfoodcertified.org, there's a meeting setup button where you can share the thing. This is where, Lynn, those people who drink certain products, go tell them you want it clean certified. To ingredients from farms, right? We've certified, like the sugar coming from the farm, cocoa powder, right?
Kombucha,
seaweeds, spirulina, right? We can do everything, but it depends on what you guys want to do and help us to do. No, our stuff is not just on processed products. It includes also the raw ingredients. That's to Patricia Bowerman. People can recommend the certification to your local farmers, market farmers. Exactly. Lisa says it, if you're at a farmer's market, so that's where we are now building the egg certification for local eggs and raw milk. Again, this has to be done by us volunteers. Those guys who want to help can do that. Soil Association, many thousands of dollars or pounds. Sure, go to them. tell them that you want it clean certified, and we'll help them do that. Prabhakar just put up the link. Lynn says, I do in Sri Lanka. Oh, you mean, yeah. Sri Lanka is where most of the teas come from. Now, teas, you know, pesticide, you have to understand green vegetables, whether it's any green vegetables, leafy green vegetables you consume, and leafy greens, what tea is, have the highest ability to absorb whatever's in the soil, right? And particularly many of these berries, like if you're eating a strawberry that's grown with glyphosate, you might as well just drink glyphosate, because it is, strawberries like a sponge, and also green vegetables. So Patricia, I already answered that. Do you certify personal care products? The answer is yes. And we can build for any new area. So I think a lot of people are asking me, do we do this? Do we do this? Do we do this? I think what you're missing when you ask that question is, I hope you understand, this is a scientific framework for certifying anything clean and raw. If we're not doing coffee today, doesn't mean we can't do it. It's just that we haven't built the standard for it. So Rudy, in this case, we're going to work together to build the standard, and then it's going to be rolled out globally. So when you see clean and raw, you're going to know that the sourcing of that. If you want to do, I don't know, dog food, we can do that. If you want to do a new area, right? Like you want to certify soil, we can do that. We just develop the protocols pursuant to the scientific framework we've done. Okay? So that's where you guys come in. So again, recognize that this is bottoms up, bottoms up, bottoms up. It's not Dr. Shiva, Ayyadurai, Dr. Prabhakar is going to save the world. We've already done the hard work of creating the framework. The issue is, do you want to save yourself and the world? If you do, join us. Donate. If you're a billionaire, donate all your money to us, because we can help save the world. If you have time, donate. If you want to do a new area, we'll teach you. You can be a project manager in one area and help us, okay? But understand that, yeah, Stephanie Seneff is bullshit, okay? She's part of the problem, okay? So she almost fucked up the entire GMO movement, Patricia. I think I've shared that with you. So anyway, the problem is that in many of these movements, the establishment also throws in people who talk a game, but they're doing stuff which is actually against what we want to do. All right, everyone.
Nev is asking, what can we do to publicize this effectively?
Who asked that?
Nev James.
Yeah. Oh, I don't see her, Prabhakar. It's really interesting. I see people coming.
I think they're directly messaging me, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Nev, the number one thing you can do is you can tell people about our next symposium. You can invite people to the open house. If you have money, you can donate. Buy the products, you know, but get involved. Remember, the government does not want bottoms-up movements. So they're not going to promote us. Mainstream media is not going to promote us. This has to be bottoms up. And you have to be very careful who you associate with. There are people who are infiltrating movements, who talk a good game. And then you have to see where their linkages are, okay? But Nev, one of the ways you can do it is you yourself, if you have social media, if you want to help donate money, we can buy advertising, right? But we rather put the money into bringing in new people, because everything here is volunteer run. And when things are volunteer run, you're always robbing Peter to pay Paul. All right, it's 12:15. We started this at 11, right? If there's no other questions, we can close the meeting. But in
I think Fadi Ayub had raised a hand.
What's his question?
He raised a hand.
Fadi, can you
unmute
just
yourself.
put your question in the chat, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
I only wanted to say, I wish I could be there with you collecting signatures, Dr. Shiva. You're the man, and you're so knowledgeable. And I'm
Well,
so
Fadi,
happy.
you can. Why don't you come to Boston and help us collect signatures? We have people from
Well, I'm in New York and I'm collecting signatures here. I actually, oh, not collecting signatures, but I'm inviting people to the Thursday meeting, which is so important, which I'm glad you just mentioned very briefly. But I encourage everybody to invite people to the Thursday meeting where Dr. Shiva goes on live and he speaks to people like he's speaking to us right now.
Yep.
Dr. Shiva, I just met a neighbor of mine who I did not even know was told me only that he's a Brahmin and but he
Okay,
took one
okay,
of your
okay. Stop, Fadi. You're going off in another direction. Okay, we're having a meeting on clean and raw food. That's what I want to focus on. But I appreciate your support. Okay.
well, he's coming on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, but those of you who are in Massachusetts, we have a few weeks left to help collect signatures, and all of you can help in a very tangible way do that right here in Massachusetts. We need people to help us wherever you are in your particular states. But some of you just asked sort of theoretical questions. That's great, but you know that I've lost a lot of patience, and I hope you value my time because not only do we do this, but we get on the ground and do work. If you want to go understand who Stephanie Seneff is, Patricia, please go watch the videos. Go talk to Michael Hansen. But I've said enough about people like this, all right? But if you want to help us collect signatures, you want to get our movement out there, Patricia, you can help us. But I don't really want to talk anymore about theoretical questions. This is a very practical movement. And I've answered a number of these questions, but I have very, very little patience for just random talking versus doing. We have an amazing standard. Do you guys want to help promote that standard? Do it. You guys want to support it? Do it. You want to help our campaign? Do it. Get on the ground. We have minimal amount of time, and my candidacy is known globally, but you can see the level of shadow banning it's done by these same people who claim they want to help the world, but they are actually part of the opposition. And you have to go do your research. You have to go watch the videos. I'm not going to spend my time on this call doing the explanation. I've done enough videos on that. So please be mindful of my time. But we are here to talk about the fact that we have a solution, and you can help with that solution. Or you can sit by the sidelines and just watch us working our butts off and being entertained once in a while. But you got to do something, guys. Either give us your money to help do this or give us your labor. But don't just sit on the sidelines and watch, because we're out in the trenches doing the work. And this solution for clean and raw food is what is, I repeat, is what's going to save, but would be a very important element of saving yourself. Okay. Prabhakar, anything else?
That's it. I think we can conclude the forum. Thank you, everyone.
So again, here are the action steps, call to action. Go become a truth, fruit, and health warrior. If you come to these things and you haven't been that, you guys got to do that. Okay, it's a way you support us and you support yourself. Number two, if you actually want to help in a tangible way, set up a meeting with us, and please keep those conversations tangible. Sometimes people are setting up time and they're talking about all sorts of random stuff. Please don't do that. You're not valuing our time. But if you want to talk about, hey, I want to help in this area, I want to help in this, and you want to actually roll up your sleeves and do that, or you want to introduce us to new people who want to get certified, that's what those conversations are for. Number three, you guys want to help us get on the ballot, do that, okay? Number four, become an affiliate. You know, help yourself, help us. Support any of the products that we're doing. But we do these symposiums to help you, but to get you to do something tangible. So those are the calls to action. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are. But we need tangible actions now that we've set up this powerful platform for you in the area of food and nutrition and certification. Dr. Prabhakar, thank you very much for your time and organizing.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Prabhakar, you'll shut it off, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.